I'm going to share the screen. This is Richard Sherman on the Richard Sherman podcast. He weighs in, and then we'll hear from Schlereth, who had a different take altogether. But here's Richard Sherman on the Richard Sherman podcast.
San Francisco 49ers, fresh off a win against the Chicago Bears, looking to turn things around. And we see Deebo tweet out today, not struggling at all, just not getting the ball. Do you view this as a big deal in San Francisco?
No, I don't. I don't view it as a big deal because he's telling the truth. Because, you try to address the drama, you try to address the rumors and all this nonsense, and that's what he did. That's why these social media platforms can be a gift and a curse because, it's always up for interpretation. What he's saying is he's not getting the ball, but he's not upset. He's not frustrated. He's not struggling. He's saying if he got the ball more, he'd be able to make more of an impact. He had 2 catches for 22 yards. He had 3 targets on the day. That's the truth. Would anybody be frustrated? Yeah. I mean, you saw A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith get frustrated in the game. They were winning because they weren't getting targeted and weren't getting the ball, and the quarterback was literally looking at them, watching them be wide open and not throwing them the ball. And I told Eagles fans, don't get me started. Don't get me started, Eagles fans, because you guys, again, I read the comments, and you guys get into a place where you're saying I'm not respecting you, and I don't see how great you're doing in Philly, and I do. It's a talented team. What I said is you're very Saquon reliant. If Saquon has a bad game at the wrong time, you guys do not have a way to overcome that. Not because you don't have an immensely talented team on both sides of the football. You do. But Jalen Hurts, for some.
All right, we're done with that. He's going into a Philly rant right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's Sherman weighing in on the Deebo thing. Everybody's got their different thought on it. One more before we weigh in. Let me give you one more here. This is Coach Yak.
Nice.
This is off Coach Yak's Twitter, I should say, or actually off Kev's Twitter. This is Mark Schlereth.
Okay.
Who weighed in on this. And Schlereth has a totally different take. Schlereth went on 95.7 The Game, and he said this about this whole Deebo thing. And he doesn't mince any words here. Schlereth is letting it fly. He's kind of the offensive lineman who's like, hey, you know what? I don't like these Deebo.
If you won a football game, I wonder if you could, you probably played at a time where you didn't need to worry so much about people tweeting after games or whatever, but like, how would you feel if you won a football game and then the next day a teammate is on Twitter saying, I'm doing fine, I'm just not getting the ball? How would you react to that as a teammate?
It'd irritate me and piss me off. By the way, you lead the team in drops. So, Mister, I'm getting along fine. Like, the thing, Deebo is a phenomenal football player. And you became who you are because of your versatility. Because they could line you up in the backfield. I truly believe that Deebo Samuel could line up in the backfield and rush for 1,200 yards as a running back. So they ran you at the running back position. They used you in the jet sweeps, the orbit sweeps. They used you in the screen game, the bubble screen game, the rip and tear screen game. They used you, in a myriad of different ways, the deep overs and everything else. You're built like a fullback. Like, you're an incredible football player, and your versatility has made you a superstar and got you paid millions upon millions of dollars. But that's not good enough, right? Because, I'm not being paid as much as Brandon Ayuk, or I want to be an ex-receiver. I want to be something I'm not. I want to be a real boy. At some point, accept who the hell you are and be grateful for what they've done in creating a superstar. I don't understand, why it's not good enough to be who you are. And what they've done for you is created generational wealth. And you've worked hard. I get it. I mean, you're a great player, but you're not Justin Jefferson running the X. You're not that guy. So I don't understand where the disconnect comes from. I don't understand the disappointment. I don't understand. And it always comes from the wide receiver position. At what point did we make these guys so valuable? They're so self-consumed because it's always it's always one of these guys, it feels like. I mean, in Philadelphia, it's A.J. Brown. Like, at what point did we overvalue them to the point where they feel like they're above the team? I don't understand. You should make him line up one-on-one and play guard for a whole practice and get a mouthful of Rydell every play and start to understand what other guys have to do for you to even sniff a football. Because it bothers me. And that's one of the things about Kyle Shanahan that I know this is true. Understanding other people's issues and problems. Like, he is so big on that from a coaching standpoint, coach to coach, player to player. You need to understand what other guys have to go through, that other guys have to sacrifice so that you can have some success. And then we're going to pout because we only got we got 3 balls thrown to us. We only had 2 receptions for 22 yards. We got, 1 TD on the season. So now we're in pouting mode, right? And not that we won a game, that we handled them offensively and being excited for George Kittle and the day he had. And, like, we can't be excited. We got to pout about the lack of production we had. And that amount of selfishness, honestly, it just irritates the piss out of me.
That was great. That was great stuff.
Good stuff from Mark Schlereth. What do you think, Paulie? I mean, nobody died here, but at the end of the day, I kind of agree with Schlereth from the standpoint of why do you have to have these outbursts?
Right.
I mean, you're leading the league in drops. You're averaging 2.5 yards a carry. You put your hands on the long snapper. You called out the kicker.
Yeah.
Nobody's calling you out. And I don't know. It's like it's always the diva wide receiver position that guys are like, hey, forget the team. How about me?
Right.
It's like, screw the team. It's all about you just routed the Bears and you should be really happy. And if anything, if I was Deebo, I'd be thrilled for every win that I didn't, have to, break my body to get, because you're playing again on Thursday night. And like, Paul, football, it's like the guys, when you play Sunday and then Thursday, you have to have different guys doing it for you on Thursday than you did on Sunday, because there's only 4 or 5 nights in between. So the fact that he didn't do squat in this game should be like a perfect precursor to he's going to be the star of the next game. And it's like, dude, why don't you just be quiet and let it all happen? Instead, you remind everybody that you're about yourself. I don't get it.
And I agree with everything Schlereth said, essentially. I mean, it's what I was saying earlier, which is the story tonight and today should be this win that they just finally recorded over the Bears after getting blown out in consecutive weeks. And the story is not the win. The story has now become Deebo Samuel's temperament and whether or not he's getting enough touches. And again, as you just said, his production is down. When he does get the rock, he's not delivering the same results as he has in previous years. And, I'm starting to think, Larry, you said it, Slayer said it, like, there really is like a diva syndrome now attached to that wide receiver position in a lot of cases. My question, Larry, is when did it start? Because growing up watching like Stallworth and Swan and, here in San Francisco, Gene Washington, I mean, a lot of those guys were kind of understated. Like, when did it turn into this kind of everybody look at me? Was it T.O.? Is that like when it started to shift, like as far as like the perception and the behavior of that position on the field?
I don't know, but I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, when exactly, who was the first diva wide receiver? But I mean, come on, you won the game.
That's it.
Why can't you be happy?
Right.
Why can't you be all about the team? I mean, why do you got to be about you? Yeah. Why can't you be about the team? I mean, we got this one, not of this world, who's blind. He says, Larry, stop trashing Deebo. Dude carried us for years. He never carried the 49ers ever. The disrespect is off the charts. There's no disrespect. It's just this guy is not the player that he was, and he's bitching that he's not getting the ball. You're not getting the ball because you're leading the team in drops and you average 2 yards a carry. You're not good against man coverage. You don't separate. You don't make plays. Yeah. It's as simple as that. I mean, nobody's going to tiptoe around you. I agree with Schlereth. He's not Justin Jefferson. This is not an all-world player. This is a one-time Pro Bowler. One time.
Yeah.
Let's not pretend that this is Jerry Rice. This is not Jerry Rice.
Right.
So when you're Jerry Rice, you can have a big diva attitude. But when you're Deebo Samuel, you cannot. I don't care that you're talking to Kay Adams or not. You're not. You're 2.5 yards a carry, and you don't get open against man coverage. That's not me trashing Deebo.
No.
Those are the fucking facts. Those are the fucking facts. That's it. Those are the facts.
Right.
All right. You want to be up in Deebo, whatever? Go ahead. Not of this world. But tell me, I'm not trashing Deebo. When you say a guy's got averages 2.5 yards a carry, that is a stat. That is a fact. That is a statement of fact. That's not trashing somebody. That's passing along what he is actually doing. That does not include my opinion. That does not include there's no editorial to say that he's averaging 2.5 yards a carry is a fact. It's not an editorial.
No. And like you also said, Larry, let's not forget the fact that he actually physically went after his kicker a few weeks ago. Like, you pointed that out, and that thing got swept under the rug pretty quickly. It wasn't that big a deal in the post game or the days that followed. But the bottom line is, he leads the team in drops. His production's down. He's mouthing off. He's upsetting people. And he went after one of his own teammates on national TV. I mean, this has not been a good year for Deebo, and it's probably not the right time for him to be bitching about not getting enough touches. So it's time to turn the page. And you know what? The funny thing is, man, in Los Angeles on Thursday, he could wind up having a monster game. He's had big nights against Los Angeles in the past. It could easily happen again. And, hopefully that would calm all this shit down. But in the meantime, it's become a story, and I really resent the fact that it's become a story. And the reason it is a story is because Deebo put it out there. He wanted people to know that he was disgruntled.
Yeah, I mean, why aren't you happy?
Yeah.
If you're about the W, I mean, if you want to be about the W, be about the W. If you want to be about yourself, be about yourself. But you can't say you're all about the W and be about yourself after your team wins and you're complaining. You just can't.